fog hangs heavy over England. It is October 1943, the 14th day, a Thursday that will become known as Black Thursday, the blackest day in the history of the United States Army Air Forces, the day when arrogance met reality, when hubris met consequence, when 300 men paid the price for one officer's pride. The airfield at Thorpe Abbotts is silent, unnaturally silent, the kind of silence that precedes catastrophe, that warns, that screams without sound. But no one listens. No one ever listens. Until too late. Until the bodies are counted. Until the telegrams are sent. Until the mothers weep. Until history judges. Until declassified documents prove what everyone suspected, what everyone knew, what no one could say, that it did not have to happen, that it should not have happened, that it happened because one man, one officer, one commander, ignored warnings, dismissed intelligence, rejected advice, insisted on mission, on glory, on proving something, to someone, to himself, to history, and 300 men died. Boys really. 19, 20, 22. Boys who trusted, who obeyed, who believed, who died, because of pride, because of ego, because of one man's refusal to listen, to adapt, to care, more about lives and legacy, more about men than medals, more about truth and triumph. The smell is of wet grass and aviation fuel and diesel exhaust and fear, always fear. It permeates everything, the air, the buildings, the men. It is not psychological. It is physical, chemical, biological. Fear releases hormones, adrenaline, cortisol. They have scent, pungent, sharp, acrid, like copper, like electricity, like death approaching. The dogs smell it. The horses smell it. The men smell it on each other, but pretend not to. Pretend confidence. Pretend readiness. Pretend this mission is like any other, but it is not. This mission is different. This mission is death sentence. This mission is massacre. Everyone knows. The crews know. The intelligence officers know. The mechanics know. The cooks know. Everyone except the one man who matters. The one man who decides. The one man who sends. Colonel Harrison Bradshaw III, commanding officer, 95th Bombardment Group, Heavy, B, 17 Flying Fortresses, the Bloody Hundreds sister group, just as cursed, just as doomed, just as expendable. Colonel Bradshaw stands his office. Quonset hut, corrugated metal, cold, damp, Spartan, functional, not comfortable. Comfort is for peacetime, for civilians, for the weak. Bradshaw is not weak. He believes. He believes in strength, in determination, in will, in the superiority of American air power, in the inevitability of victory, in his own brilliance, his own destiny, his own legend. He is 43 years old for combat commander. Most are 35, 38, but Bradshaw has connections. West Point class of 1922. Same class as Eisenhower. Different trajectory. Ike became supreme commander. Bradshaw became group commander. The difference galls. Eats at him. Consumes him. He should be higher. Should command division. Should command Air Force. Should command theater. He has the breeding. The education. The pedigree. His father was general. His grandfather was colonel. His great-grandfather fought at Gettysburg. Military aristocracy. American nobility. He deserves more. He will prove it. Today. This mission. This impossible mission. This suicidal mission. He will succeed where others failed. Will destroy Schweinfurt. Will cripple German ball-bearing production. Will win the war. Will become hero. Will become legend. Will become what he always knew he was. Destined for greatness. For glory, for immortality. He studies the mission brief. Again, for the 10th time, for the 20th time, obsessively. The target is Schweinfurt, ball-bearing factories. Strategic target, critical target. The Germans produce 60% of their ball bearings there. Destroy Schweinfurt. Cripple German industry. Cripple German military. Cripple German war effort. End the war. Simple. Logical. Necessary. Except it is not simple. It is suicide. Schweinfurt is deep in Germany. 400 miles from England. 200 miles beyond escort range. The P-47 Thunderbolts can escort to the German border, then turn back. Fuel exhausted. The bombers continue alone, unescorted, unprotected, vulnerable, for 2 hours over Germany. 2 hours of German fighters. Hundreds of fighters. Bf-109s. FW-190s. The best pilots. The best tactics. The best aircraft. Waiting. Hunting. Killing. 2 hours of flak. Hundreds of anti-aircraft guns. 88 millimeter. 105 millimeter. Radar directed. Altitude fused. Accurate. Deadly. 2 hours of hell. 2 hours of dying. 2 hours that most bombers will not survive. The first Schweinfurt raid. August 17, 1943. 2 months ago. 60 bombers lost. 600 men. 20% casualties. Unsustainable. Unacceptable. Apocalyptic. The mission was deemed success. Strategically, the factories were damaged. Production was reduced. Temporarily. But the cost. The terrible cost. 60 bombers. 600 men. Gone. Dead. Captured. Missing. The families notified. The condolence letters written. The empty bunks. The silent mess halls. The ghosts. So many ghosts. And now they're going back. To Schweinfurt. Again. Deeper. Longer. Harder. With more bombers. With higher stakes. With greater risk. With worse odds. The intelligence reports are clear. Unambiguous. Terrifying. German fighter strength has increased. Not decreased. The August raid did not deplete them. It enraged them. They reinforced. They adapted. They prepared. They are waiting. The Luftwaffe has concentrated 300 fighters, maybe more, along the route, at the target, on the return, waiting to slaughter. The flak has been reinforced. More guns, better radar, improved tactics. Schweinfurt is fortress, is death trap, is graveyard. The intelligence officers warn. Lieutenant Colonel James Peterson, Group Intelligence Officer, 38 years old, career officer, competent, thorough, cautious. He briefs Bradshaw, shows reports, shows reconnaissance photos, shows intercepts, German radio traffic, fighter deployments, gun emplacements, everything. The evidence is overwhelming, undeniable, damning. This mission will fail. This mission will cost. This mission will kill. Hundreds, maybe more. Peterson recommends delay. Wait for long-range escorts. P-51 Mustangs. They are coming. Soon. Maybe months. Maybe weeks. But coming. With Mustangs, the bombers can reach Schweinfurt, can fight back, can survive. Without Mustangs. Without escorts. Without protection. They die. Simple math. Simple logic. Simple truth. Bradshaw listens. Face impassive. Eyes cold. He hears the words. Processes the data. Understands the implications. Then rejects. All of it. He says, Peterson, you are dismissed. Your concerns are noted and ignored. The mission proceeds. As planned. As ordered. As necessary. Peterson protests. Sir, the intelligence is clear. The Germans are waiting. We will lose 60 bombers. Maybe more. Maybe all of them. We cannot sustain these losses. We must wait. We must delay. We must protect our men. Bradshaw's voice is ice. Is steel. Is final. Lieutenant Colonel. You are intelligence officer. Not operations officer. Not commanding officer. Not God. I make the decisions. I assess the risks. I accept the consequences. The mission proceeds. Dismissed. Peterson salutes. Leaves. Defeated. Worried. Terrified for the men, for the crews, for the boys who will die, because one man's pride, one man's ambition, one man's refusal to listen, to adapt, to care, he will write report, official report, documenting warnings, documenting objections, documenting predictions, covering himself, covering the truth, preserving evidence, for later, for investigation, for court-martial maybe, for history definitely. The report will be classified, top secret, buried, for 70 years, until declassified, until exposed, until the truth emerges. That Peterson warned, that Peterson knew, that Peterson tried, and Bradshaw ignored, deliberately, arrogantly, fatally. The weather officer warns. Major Donald Mitchell, meteorologist, 40 years old, civilian in uniform, professor before war, MIT, brilliant, analytical, precise. He briefs Bradshaw. The weather is deteriorating, cloud cover increasing, visibility decreasing, ceiling dropping. Over Germany, the conditions will be terrible. 8/10 cloud cover, maybe 10/10. Complete overcast. The bombers will not see the target, cannot bomb visually. The Norden bomb site requires visual acquisition, requires clear skies, requires seeing the target. Without visibility, without clear skies, without visual acquisition, the bombs miss, the mission fails, and the men die for nothing. For clouds, for weather, for stupidity. Mitchell recommends abort. Scrub the mission. Wait for better weather. Wait for clear skies. Wait for conditions that allow success. Not just participation, not just trying, but succeeding. Bradshaw dismisses, says Major, we have bombed through clouds before. We will bomb through clouds again. The mission proceeds. Mitchell tries again. Sir, the intelligence shows heavy fighter concentration, combined with poor weather, with no visibility, with no fighter support. The casualties will be catastrophic. I am begging you. Delay. Please. Bradshaw's voice is final, is absolute, is commanding. Major Mitchell, you are dismissed. Your weather report is noted. The mission proceeds. File your protest. In writing. For the record. Then get out of my office. Mitchell leaves. Shaking. Angry. Helpless. He will file report. Meteorological assessment. Unfavorable conditions. Mission not recommended. The report will join Peterson's. In classified files. In buried archives. In suppressed evidence. For 70 years. Until truth emerges. The operations officer warns. Lieutenant Colonel Robertson, 35 years old. Combat veteran. 2 tours. 42 missions. Distinguished Flying Cross. He knows. He understands. He has been there, has seen the fighters, has felt the flak, has watched friends die, has carried home wounded, has identified bodies, has written condolence letters. Too many letters. He briefs Bradshaw. Sir, the route is suicide. 400 miles. 2 hours unescorted. The Germans will concentrate all fighters, all guns, all efforts on this single raid. They know we are coming. Radar, spies, intelligence. They always know. They will be waiting at every turn, every checkpoint, every approach. They will attack in waves. Relentless, overwhelming, devastating. The bomber formations will break. The stragglers will be picked off. The survivors will be too few, too scattered, too damaged to hit the target effectively. We need different approach, different tactics, different timing, or we need to wait for long-range escorts, for better weather, for improved odds. Bradshaw listens, then speaks. Colonel Chun, I appreciate your experience, your concern, your caution, but we have orders from 8th Air Force, from General Eaker, from Washington, strike Schweinfurt, destroy ball-bearing production, cripple German industry. Win the war. Those are our orders. Those are my orders. Those are your orders. We will execute. We will succeed. We will prevail. American air power, American determination, American courage will triumph. The mission proceeds. Chun tries once more. Sir, I am not questioning courage. I am questioning tactics. I am questioning timing. I am questioning wisdom. Please, reconsider. Delay. Save lives. Bradshaw stands. Meeting over. Decision final. Colonel, you have your orders. Briefing is at 0500. Takeoff at 0800. Dismissed. Chin salutes. Leaves. Defeated. He will write report 2. Operations assessment. Mission not advised. Excessive risk. Insufficient support. Predicted casualties. 30 to 40%. Maybe higher. The report will be filed. Classified. Buried. With the others. Evidence. Of warnings ignored. Of advice rejected. Of men condemned. By pride. By ambition. By one officer's refusal to listen. Even the chaplain warns. Captain Michael O'Reilly. 42 years old. Catholic priest. Jesuit. Educated. Thoughtful. Compassionate. He sees the man. Hears their confessions. Knows their fears. Feels their dread. The mood is different. This mission feels different. The men know. Somehow they know. This is the bad one. The big one. The final one. For many. For most. For too many. He speaks to Bradshaw. Not officially. Informally. Man to man. Soul to soul. Father to son. He says, Harrison, I have served with these men for 9 months. I have buried 43 of them. I have written to their families. I have consoled their friends. I have prayed for their souls. And I am telling you, this mission, it is wrong. The timing is wrong. The weather is wrong. The intelligence is wrong. Everything is screaming abort. Delay. Reconsider. Please, for the love of God, for the sake of these boys. Listen. Bradshaw's face hardens. Offense taken. Father, I respect your position, your calling, your faith, but do not presume to counsel me on military matters, on tactical decisions, on strategic imperatives. You tend to souls. I tend to war, each to his calling. The mission proceeds. Pray for success. Pray for victory. Pray for America. But do not question my command. O'Reilly leaves. Heart heavy. Soul burdened. He will pray. For the men. For the mission. For Bradshaw. For mercy. For forgiveness. For the 300 souls about to be sacrificed on altar of pride, of ambition, of one man's ego. He will document, in journal, private journal, his warnings, his pleas, his predictions. The journal will survive, will be found, after war, after Bradshaw's death, after declassification, after truth, more evidence, more proof, more confirmation. That everyone knew, everyone warned, everyone tried, and one man refused. The briefing happens. 0500 hours. October 14th, 1943. 300 air crews. 3,000 men. They file into briefing room. Quonset hut, largest on base. Benches, maps, blackboards, podium. Bradshaw stands there. Ramrod straight. Uniform perfect. Expression confident. Arrogant. He speaks. Gentlemen, today we strike the heart of the Reich. Today we destroy Germany's ability to make war. Today we hit Schweinfurt. The men groan. Audibly, visibly, they know Schweinfurt. Know the first raid. Know the losses. Know the odds. Bradshaw continues. I know what you are thinking. Schweinfurt is tough. Schweinfurt is defended. Schweinfurt cost us in August. But that was then. This is now. We are better trained, better equipped, better prepared. We will succeed where others struggled. We will triumph where others merely survived. We are the 95th Bombardment Group. We are the best. We will prove it. Today, the men are silent, unconvinced, afraid. The intelligence officer briefs. Peterson, reluctantly, minimizing, under orders. He says German fighter strength is moderate. Flak is heavy but manageable. Weather is challenging but acceptable. Expected losses, 10 to 15%. Normal, acceptable, sustainable. He does not believe his own words. His face shows it. His voice betrays it. But he speaks them under orders, under protest, under duress. The men see through it. They know, they always know, when they are being lied to, being used, being sacrificed. The operations officer briefs, chun, route, checkpoints, timings, escort rendezvous. Thunderbolts will take you to the border. Then you are alone, to target. 2 hours. Return escort will meet you at border. Coming back. 2 hours alone. Over Germany. Over hell. Over death. He does not sugarcoat. Does not minimize. Just facts. Cold facts. Brutal facts. Honest facts. The men appreciate honesty. Prefer to lies. To false confidence. To manufactured hope. The weather officer briefs. Mitchell. Cloud cover. Visibility. Winds. Conditions are marginal. Possibly deteriorating. Visual bombing may be difficult. He says difficult means impossible. The men understand. The target officer briefs shows reconnaissance photos. The factories, the buildings, the aiming points. These are your targets. These are your objectives. Destroy them. Win the war. Go home. Simple words. Impossible task. Deadly mission. The briefing ends. Questions. Few. What good are questions? When answers are predetermined. When decisions are made. When fates are sealed. They file out. To breakfast. To equipment. To planes. To death. To history. To Black Thursday. The takeoff begins. 0800 hours. Cold morning. October cold. Damp. Gray. Miserable. 291B. 17 flying fortresses. Lined up. Engines warming. Crews boarding. Through belly hatches. Into positions. Pilots. Co-pilots. Navigators. Bombardiers. Engineers. Radio operators. Gunners. 10 men per plane. 2,910 men. Boys. 19, 20, 22. From Iowa. From Texas. From New York. From California. From everywhere. America's sons. America's best. America's sacrifice. They taxi, one by one, down taxiways, to runways. Line up. Wait. One takes off. 30 seconds later. Next. Repeat. Mechanical. Efficient. Beautiful. Terrible. The thunder is immense. 2,916 engines. Right cyclones. Radials. 1,800 horsepower each. 5,244,800 horsepower total. The sound shakes earth. Rattles buildings. Stops hearts. Announces death coming. For someone. For many. For 300. They lift off. One by one. Wheels retract. Flaps retract. Climb. Formation assembly. Over North Sea. Circling. Joining. Box formations. Combat boxes. High squadron. Low squadron. Lead squadron. Staggered. Layered. Interlocking fields of fire. Theory. Beautiful theory. Deadly reality. The flight to Germany is routine. At first. Over North Sea. Over Holland. P-47 Thunderbolts escort. Above. Around. Protecting. Comforting. American brothers. Guarding. Watching. 50 Thunderbolts. Against 300 German fighters. Waiting. But the Thunderbolts help. Psychologically. Tactically. They discourage attacks. They shoot down early fighters. They save lives. For now. For the easy part. Then the border. German border. Deep Germany. The Thunderbolts turn back. Fuel low. Ammunition expended. Duty done. The bombers are alone. 291 bombers. 2,910 men. No escorts. No protection. No hope. Just courage, just duty, just orders, just death approaching. The fighters come immediately. BF 109s, dozens, from above, from sun, classic attack, head-on passes, 600-knot closure. They fire. Cannons, machine guns, rockets, bombers shudder. Smoke, break formation, fall, first bomber down. 0950 hours. 45 minutes after crossing border, 305th Bombardment Group. Hit head-on, cockpit destroyed, pilots killed, plane dives, spins, explodes, no parachutes, 10 men dead, instant, then another, then 5 at once. The formation is being shredded. The fighters are everywhere, attacking from all angles, all directions, all altitudes, coordinated, professional, deadly, relentless. The bombers fight back. 50 caliber machine guns, 13 per plane, 3,771 guns, firing, tracers arcing, red streaks, beautiful, deadly, defensive fire. They hit fighters, shoot down some, damage others, but not enough, never enough. The German fighters are experienced, are veterans, are survivors. They know tactics, know weaknesses, know how to kill B-17s. Frontal attacks. The nose is weak, only 2 guns. The fighters attack head-on. The combined closing speed, 600 knots. The B-17 gunners have 2 seconds, maybe 3, to track, to aim, to fire, to hit. Impossible. The German pilots have same time, but they are flying fighters. Maneuverable, fast, agile. They can aim, can track, can hit, and they do. Bomber after bomber. Cockpit shredded. Pilots killed. Co-pilots killed. Navigation killed. Bombardiers killed. Engineers killed. Radio operators killed. Everyone. The bombers fall. Burning. Exploding. Spiraling. Some crews bail out. White parachutes. Blossoming. Falling. Into captivity. Into survival. Into prisoner of war camps. Some crews do not bail. Cannot bail. Dead. Wounded. Trapped. Burning. They ride planes down. Into ground. Into forests. Into fields. Into death. Into unmarked graves. Into missing in action. Into never found. Into ghosts. By the time they reach Schweinfurt, 40 bombers are gone. 14% losses. Before bombing. Before target. Before mission success. Before anything. Just getting there. Just surviving the approach. 40 bombers. 400 men. Gone. The survivors bomb. 229 bombers. Drop bombs. 424 tons. High explosives. Incendiaries. On target. On factories. On buildings. On workers. On 30,000 German workers. Civilians. Mostly. War workers. Yes, but civilians. Non-combatants. Under Geneva Convention. But war does not care about conventions. About rules. About humanity. War cares about winning. About destroying. About killing. The bombs hit. The factories explode. The fire spread. The smoke rises. Mission successful. Tactically. Strategically. The ball bearing production is damaged. Reduced. For months. For the war effort. For victory. For history. But the cost. The terrible cost. After bombing. The fighters return. Refueled. Rearmed. Angrier. They attack the damaged bombers. The stragglers. The wounded. Like wolves. Like predators. Like death itself. They show no mercy. No quarter. No compassion. This is total war. This is industrial killing. This is modern warfare. Efficient. Mechanical. Deadly. 20 more bombers fall. On return leg. Between Schweinfurt and border. 20 more. 200 men. Dead. Missing. Captured. The formations are broken. Scattered. Individual bombers, pairs, small groups, trying to survive, trying to reach border, trying to live. The German fighters hunt them, systematically, professionally, efficiently, kill after kill, victory after victory, funeral after funeral. The flak continues. All along route, Schweinfurt, Stuttgart, Frankfurt, Mainz, Koblenz, every city, every town, every German position, firing. The sky is black, with bursts, with explosions, with death. Bombers shudder. Take hits. Lose engines. Lose systems. Lose crew. Lose hope. But fly on. Westward. Always westward. Toward England. Toward home. Toward survival. Some make it. Most do not. At the border, the escorts return. P-47s. Spitfires. British and American. Brothers. Saviors. Angels. They arrive at 1,530 hours. The German fighters break off. Mission complete. Quota filled. Victories claimed. They return to bases, to hot meals, to warm beds, to rest, to celebration, to life. The bombers limp home. 1 engine, 2 engines, 3 engines, some on 4, but damaged, smoking, leaking, dying. They cross channel. England visible. Green. Beautiful. Home. Almost. They land. Emergency landings. Priority landings. Crash landings. All over England. All over East Anglia. All over anywhere flat. Runways. Fields. Beaches. Some crash. Killing crews. After surviving everything. After beating odds. After almost making it. Dying at home, feet from safety, meters from survival, second from life. Cruel, wasteful, typical. War is cruel. War is wasteful. War is typical. The count begins. Immediately, how many returned? How many lost? How many missing? The ground crews count. Empty hard stands. Missing planes. Absent friends. The operations officers count. Mission reports. Radio calls, last positions, the intelligence officers count, evidence, proof, validation. Peterson counts, with 6 satisfaction, grim vindication. He predicted 60, maybe more. The count comes in, 60 bombers lost. Exactly, 600 men, missing, presumed dead, captured, wounded, gone, 20% casualties. Exactly as predicted, exactly as warned, exactly as ignored. 17 more bombers damaged beyond repair. Scrapped, written off, total loss. 77 bombers, gone. 121 more damaged. Varying degrees, battle damage, combat damage, evidence of violence, of war, of hell. Over 26% attrition, unsustainable, unacceptable. Catastrophic. Bradshaw is triumphant. At first, mission successful. Target hit. Damage inflicted. Victory achieved. He writes report. Glowing report. Exaggerating successes. Minimizing losses. Emphasizing strategic impact. Claiming vindication. Claiming glory. Claiming legend. He submits report. To 8th Air Force. To General Eaker. To Washington. To history. Expecting praise, expecting promotion, expecting glory. Instead, silence. Days pass, no response. Week passes, no acknowledgement. Bradshaw grows anxious, then angry, then desperate. He makes calls, sends messages, demands answers. Why no response? Why no recognition? Why no praise? The answer comes. Finally, tersely, brutally. General Eaker is not pleased. Washington is not pleased. The losses are unacceptable. The mission is deemed failed, not strategically. Tactically, yes, but operationally. 77 bombers lost, 600 men, 26% casualties. Deep penetration raids are suspended indefinitely. until long-range escorts are available, until P-51 Mustangs arrive, until losses are sustainable. Bradshaw's mission, Bradshaw's triumph, Bradshaw's glory, has ended the bombing campaign, has grounded the 8th Air Force, has delayed victory, not accelerated it, delayed, the opposite of intention, of desire, of ambition. Investigation begins. Quietly, internal, Army Air Forces, Inspector General. They interview officers. Peterson, Mitchell, Chun, O'Reilly, others. They collect reports. The warnings, the protests, the predictions, the evidence. They interview survivors. Aircrew, pilots, gunners. They hear stories of slaughter, of massacre, of helplessness, of friends dying, of planes burning, of men screaming, of German fighters. Hundreds, waiting, coordinated, professional, just as intelligence predicted, just as Peterson warned, just as Bradshaw ignored. The investigators compile evidence, mountains of evidence, undeniable evidence, that Bradshaw was warned, repeatedly, explicitly, professionally, by intelligence, by weather, by operations, by everyone, and ignored it all, dismissed it all, rejected it all, because of pride, because of ambition, because of ego, because of conviction that he knew better, that he was smarter, that he was destined for glory, for greatness, for legend, and 300 men paid, with lives, with futures, with everything. The report is damning, completely damning. It recommends court-martial for negligence, for reckless endangerment, for dereliction of duty, for conduct unbecoming, for everything. The evidence is overwhelming. The conclusion is inevitable. Bradshaw should be court-martialed, should be convicted, should be punished, should be example, should be warning to others, to future commanders, that ignoring warnings has consequences, that pride kills, that men's lives matter more than officers' ambitions. The report goes to 8th Air Force, to General Eaker, to Decision. Eaker reads, understands, agrees. Bradshaw should be court-martialed, should be punished, should be ended. But the war, but the morale, but the optics, but the politics. Court-martialing group commander, for following orders, for executing mission, for attacking enemy, sets terrible precedent, creates terrible optics, implies command is scapegoating, implies mission was wrong, implies strategy is flawed, cannot do that, cannot acknowledge that, cannot admit that. So compromise, quiet compromise, political compromise. Bradshaw is relieved of command, immediately, quietly, transferred to training command, stateside, away from combat, away from men, away from decisions, away from death, effective exile, professional death sentence, but not court-martial, not public disgrace, not official condemnation, just transfer, just reassignment, just career ended, quietly, permanently, completely. The report is classified, top secret, buried, in archives, in vaults, in secrecy, cannot be revealed, cannot be published, cannot be known, for 70 years, until 2013, until declassification, until Freedom of Information Act requests, until historians discover, until truth emerges, until evidence is exposed. That Bradshaw was warned, that Bradshaw ignored, that Bradshaw killed 300 men because of pride, because of ambition, because of ego. The declassified documents are explosive, are undeniable, are damning. Peterson's intelligence report, warning of fighter concentration, predicting 60 losses, exact prediction, proven accurate. Mitchell's weather report, warning of poor visibility, recommending delay, ignored. Chen's operations assessment, warning of excessive risk, questioning tactics, dismissed. O'Reilly's journal entries, pleading for reconsider, for mercy, for humanity, rejected, all there, all documented, all classified, all hidden for 70 years, until revealed, until exposed, until vindicated. The historians publish, academic journals first, then mainstream media, the New York Times, Washington Post, BBC, CNN, everyone. The story is explosive, is shocking, is infuriating. 300 men died because one officer ignored warnings, dismissed intelligence, refused advice, for pride, for ambition, for glory. The public is outraged. Veterans groups are outraged. Families are outraged. Descendants of the 300, now elderly, some dead, but children alive, grandchildren, great-grandchildren. They read, they learn, they understand. Finally, why grandfather died, why uncle never returned, why family photo has gap? Because one man, one officer, one commander, valued glory over lives, valued ambition over truth, valued ego over duty. The military is embarrassed, defensive. They issue statements, acknowledging mistakes, acknowledging failures, acknowledging that warnings were ignored, that men died unnecessarily, that lessons were learned, that procedures were changed, that it will never happen again. Empty words, hollow promises, because it happens again. Korea, Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan, always. Commanders ignoring warnings, dismissing intelligence, rejecting advice, sacrificing men, for pride, for politics, for something, always something, more important than lives, than futures, than truth. Memorials are erected at Thorpe Abbott's, now museum, Imperial War Museum, Duxford, National Museum of the Mighty 8th Air Force, Savannah, Georgia. Plaques, bronze plaques, listing names, all 60 crews, 600 names, alphabetically, rank, serial number, age, hometown, all there, all remembered, all honored. Finally, after 70 years, the plaques include dedication. In memory of the 600 airmen lost on Black Thursday, October 14, 1943. Second Schweinfurt raid. They were warned it would be costly. They went anyway, not from choice, from duty, from orders, from trust, in commanders, in leaders, in system. That trust was betrayed by officer who valued glory over lives, who ignored warnings, who dismissed intelligence, who sacrificed men for ambition. This memorial honors the dead, condemns the decision, preserves the truth. That 300 men paid the price for one officer's pride. Never again. We remember, we learn, we honor, forever. Bradshaw died, 1967. Heart attack, age 67. Retired, disgraced, forgotten, bitter. He wrote memoirs, self-published. No publisher interested, no audience, no sales. The memoir blames everyone, blames intelligence, blames weather, blames crews, blames luck, never blames himself, never acknowledges warnings, never admits fault, never shows remorse, never apologizes to families, to survivors, to history, to anyone. He died believing himself right, believing himself heroic, believing himself vindicated. He died wrong. About everything, about himself, about mission, about men, about life, about legacy. His obituary is brief, perfunctory. Former Air Force officer, combat commander, retired colonel. No mention of Schweinfurt, a Black Thursday, of 300 men. Just brief, forgettable, like his life, like his legacy, like him. But the 300 are remembered. Names on plaques, names in books, names in hearts, of families, of descendants, of historians, of anyone who learns, who studies, who understands. That war is not just battles, not just strategies, not just victories. War is decisions by commanders, by leaders, by officers who hold lives in hands, in judgment, in conscience. Some decide wisely, carefully, humanely, valuing lives, protecting men, minimizing casualties. Some decide poorly, carelessly, arrogantly, valuing glory, seeking recognition, maximizing risk. Bradshaw decided poorly, carelessly, arrogantly, and 300 men paid the ultimate price for his pride, for his ambition, for his refusal to listen, to adapt, to care. That is Black Thursday. That is Schweinfurt. That is declassified evidence. That is truth, preserved, documented, proven, forever. So it never happens again. So commanders learn. So lives are valued. So warnings are heeded. So 300 men did not die for nothing. They died for lesson, for truth, for warning. That pride kills. That ambition destroys. That ignoring warnings costs lives. 300 lives on one Thursday in October 1943, Black Thursday, forever remembered, forever honored, forever warning. Listen to warnings. Value lives, or pay the price, in blood, in death, in history, in shame, forever.